Alright, welcome back, y'all. And yeah, we're going on a Saturday for the first time in a while. I've just been so busy, I haven't really had the time. So it made sense of, you know what, let's just do it. Sure, we might even hear the talking flower, which I know we've been hearing for the past 2 weeks. But, you know, we'll actually hear it go to sleep, maybe. We got a few things to talk about. We got, like, 3 bits of gaming news. I mean, nothing that major. I honestly could have collapsed most of them into bite-sized news and called it a day. But let's talk about it all anyways. And for WIBE, I got no food stuff. I got a videos game, a movie, and then this is the week that A Parade of Horribles came out. I have started it. I have not made that much progress. I'm only a few chapters in. But, yeah, let's still talk about it anyways. It's been a busy week. And then, of course, we do have Marble League at the end. As long as I do remember it, which should not be an issue. At least I hope not. I'll hopefully remember. I only bring up I might forget because I didn't put it down in the show notes. Normally I do. So, yeah, we'll see. We're going to be playing New Super Mario Bros. U today. You know, we just finished Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. I had a great time. And I'm still on that sort of Mario kick as we have been working through it. So I thought, hey, let's do New Super Mario Bros. U. Maybe we'll get halfway through it this week. Do the other half next week. And then we'll do Luigi U. I mean, that cuts away the next, 4 weeks. I don't know, maybe I'll do other stuff at some point. But I think for the moment that makes the most sense. And yeah, that should be it. So with that, let me just boot up the game real quick and we'll get into things. So I have not played this game in a while. Technically, it's not been that long. Does it give it? No, it doesn't give a date. It's been a while. I've played this game before on the Switch, too. I do like this game. I know New Super Mario Bros. U gets a little bit of flack. And, yes, some of it is most definitely deserved. It is, it's basically the 4th time they've made this game. But whereas, the original New Super Mario Bros. Actually threw a lot of new things into it. It was genuinely new. Then New Super Mario Bros. Wii added multiplayer. And then New Super Mario Bros. 2 did a million coins, which is not the most creative gimmick. The game otherwise is pretty generic. But overall, I find that game a little charming. Maybe we'll check it out one of these days. This game, on the other hand, it's literally just New Super Mario Bros. Wii again. Yeah, they add some new things, oh, we have the acorn suit. We have some new level themes and some ideas, But other than that, this is literally just New Super Mario Bros. U again. This is New Super Mario Bros. Wii again. They basically just made the same game again. Which, I mean, this was a Wii U launch title. It just kind of shows you where we were at the time with the Wii U. Even though we had just come off the Wii, which the Wii was great, and everybody loves the Wii. But it just shows that things were, a little desperate going into the Wii U. I guess that's a way to look at it. Yeah. Because at least, when Mario Kart World came out, it's yeah, it's another Mario Kart, but they were trying to do things different. They were bringing in all these new ideas and trying to do things differently. Whereas this is literally just the same fucking game. Now, we did play New Super Mario Bros. Wii sometime last year. I don't actually keep track of when we play what games. I just know we did do that. So at some point we played New Super Mario Bros. Wii. I couldn't actually tell you when. I think it was over the summer. I couldn't tell you. All time blends together nowadays. But, yeah, we'll play this one. At some point, I do also want to do DS in 2. See if 2 is as good as I remember it. Or see if the original is as good as I remember it, and see if 2 is actually okay. Because I remember liking 2, but we'll do that in the future. Maybe, probably, hopefully. We're not going, you know, like when we did Captain Toad last week, my goal was to get all the gems and whatnot. I'm not going for all-star coins. I have done that before. And honestly, of all the games to get all the star coins in, this is one of the easier ones. Like, I think New Super Mario Bros. Wii is actually harder than this one. But I'm not gonna, I've done it before. It's not worth my time doing again. This is just gonna be your bog standard, you know, normal playthrough. And yeah, we got no Jeff coming in here to fuck us up and ruin our lives. I love those videos, man. Those are way back in the day. Achievement Hunter did this game back. It was literally the only Nintendo video they did almost the entire Wii U's lifespan was this game, and it was so fucking funny. Because Jeff is just trying to sabotage them, and it just ruins everything. I think they did it again later on, but I'll always remember the originals. Ah, God, that takes me back. Had to blow my nose. Alright, so let's get into gaming news. So we got 3 main stories and then some bite-sized stuff. For our main stories, I do want to talk about Xbox, because they've had a few leaks this week, specifically showing off 2 new controllers. And since controllers are one of the big things people are talking about right now with that new Steam controller, I thought, hey, let's talk about it. I have a few things to say, I guess. And then we got an update on the Zelda movie. Nothing major, but I mainly want to talk about it for other reasons. Specifically that Mario movie that just came out. And then there's a GTA story, because GTA 6 is allegedly starting pre-order soon, and so let's talk about that. And then I have like 1 or 2 things in bite-sized. Nothing major. So with that, let's talk about Xbox. So we got... Okay, first thing I want to say. Xbox recently redid their logo. And by that, I mean they changed their logo to go back to something more classic, which I do like. And then they changed their name from Xbox with a capital X to Xbox all capitalized. Now, I've seen some people mad at this, like, oh, Xbox wasted billions of dollars just to change their name. I'd hope not. I don't think this is like an HBO Max thing, where they were HBO Max, and then they just became Max, and then they went back to HBO Max, because they realized nobody gives a shit about Max. And I mean, you could argue they were HBO before that, and HBO Now, and HBO Go. Yeah, companies pay people millions of dollars just for things that they don't need. You know, it's all just a waste. And it really did sound like this whole Xbox name change was literally just left up to Twitter to decide. I mean, that probably wasn't it, but that's kind of how it felt. But I think them changing the name from Xbox with a capital X to Xbox all capital is fine. I don't think it's that big of a deal. And like in the grand scheme of things, it means very little. So with that, you know, E3 is coming around the corner. Okay, not E3, Summer Games Fest is coming around the corner in just a few weeks. And obviously, you know, we're going to have a Summer Games Fest show, and then we're going to have an Xbox show that also talks about Gears of War. And so in the lead up to that, we're pretty sure we've got 2 things they're going to be talking about. That being these 2 new Xbox controllers. So both of these things come from a Brazilian regulator So these are both Brazilian leaks who originally they did the cloud controller, and then a day later they leaked the series, the Elite 3 controller. But yeah, these are just, you know, bog standard leaks. Somebody who has it already and is looking it over, posts pictures online, and that's the end of it. You hear this stuff all the time, you know. Ratings boards leak games all the time on this exact same premise. So it's nothing new or major there. I know there's a secret exit to this level, but I don't know if I'm thinking of this one or the Luigi one. Maybe I'm thinking of the Luigi one. Not that I need the secret exit, because it skips, like, all the way to World 4. But yeah, so our first controller is a cloud controller. So this Xbox Cloud controller, it is a smaller controller. It looks to be more along the size of, like, some of those 8-bit-do controllers. Or, honestly, it kind of reminds me of an SNES controller. Like, imagine if you took, you know, the size of an SNES controller and then added all the modern-day buttons, triggers, joysticks that modern-day controller has. I think that's a better description of what this new Xbox Cloud controller looks like. At least that's my thought on it. Is that, yeah, it kind of looks like an SNES controller. It's clearly meant to be smaller, you know, something that you can fit in your pocket, something that, you know, you could take with you wherever you go, and just easily, you know, log on to, like, your Xbox Cloud account and play your games on your phone when you're, let's say, at the coffee shop, or when you're at, like, a hotel. You know, it's meant to be far more approachable. So, the controller has two colors. There's a white one and a black one. But, you know, it's basically standard Xbox colors at this point. You know, it's the Series S and the Series X. These controllers have Wi-Fi connection, so it connects directly to Wi-Fi and then to the cloud. I assume it works kind of like a Google Stadia or an Amazon Luna controller, where, you know, I'm pretty sure those also just connected directly to the cloud, and then you, like, connected them to your services through the same Wi-Fi network, and that's what lets you play, like, your Stadia games or your Amazon Luna games. Does Amazon Luna even exist anymore? I think it does, but I'm not entirely sure. So it has compatibility for both 2.4 and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, which, I mean, I'm just assuming they're different strengths of Wi-Fi bandwidth. But it does also have Bluetooth connectivity. So potentially, yes, you will also be able to hook this up to your phone, or up, you know, if for some reason you want to use this as your Xbox controller, in theory, you would also be able to use this. Maybe if you want, you know, just a quick, cheap controller for a second player, but you don't want to use like an 8-bit-do or something third-party. But, you know, official controllers are too expensive. Maybe, I don't know. It's a weird market. It does have a USB-C port on the top of it, because it looks like this controller has an internal battery. Because if you're one of the many people who does not have an Xbox, you might not know that Xbox controllers still use AA batteries. You know, whereas every other controller in the industry has shifted over to a chargeable battery. Some are better than others. You know, Nintendo and Steam have really good batteries on their controllers. Meanwhile, PlayStation's battery only lasts like 3 hours. How the fuck these other two figured it out, and PlayStation still can't make a controller that lasts longer than like 3 hours, I have no fucking idea. But yeah, that's what it looks like we're getting here. It's going to have an internal battery, which is nice. It's good that Xbox is making that change. It'll be a change they make on the other controller. Of course, you can actually just buy an internal battery from Microsoft that you put into the battery pack of a current Xbox controller, and it just works as if it's, you know, anything else. That's what I do, and it works fine, and I've never had any issues. It's, yeah, it means that the controller costs like an extra like $15, but it works. At the top of the controller, there seems to be a new, like, pairing button, but it seems to be a little bit more complicated than that. Like, it looks like it'll have, like, a little display, and it shows pairing, and it'll show, like, whether you're using, like, Wi-Fi or LAN support. So it looks like by hitting the top button, you'll be able to switch it between the two, which actually seems nice, because from what I've heard with that new Steam controller, the only real oversight from that new Steam controller is how you switch between puck mode and Bluetooth mode. Because by default, if you have the controller, it connects to the little puck. But you can change it to be a Bluetooth controller, but you have to, like, when you turn on the controller, you have to hit, like, a certain button configuration. You have to hold, like, right trigger and A, and then hit the power button, and that switches it. And why they did that, I don't know. But, hey, it's what they did. I know, like, other, like, 8BitDo usually has, like, a switch in the back that flips it between the two. But yeah, having a little button on top with a little indicator telling you which one you're doing. And it looks like the Elite controller is also going to have that same thing. That is nice. Of course, you know, this is separate from the Xbox Series X or the Elite controllers. This is basically a third pillar back into the brand of like, hey, you know, this is an Xbox. Which, it's really interesting that we're getting this right when Microsoft just moved away from the whole this is an Xbox brand. You know, with Asha Sharma coming in, it's no longer this is an Xbox. And people really like that, it appears. You know, people actually really like the direction Asha Sharma has brought to Xbox. And just like her first, like, 2 months. Which already feels wild, the fact that it's already been 2 months. So this might be a vestige of the whole this is an Xbox campaign. But, again, it's what Xbox was going for. One of the things we do not know is price. And that is one of the things I do wonder about. Because, like, if this is a cheaper controller, I don't want it to be cheap quality, and we'll talk about quality with the Elites in a second. But if this is a cheaper controller that, you know, it's designed for someone to easily just pick up and play. Like, oh, you don't own an Xbox, but, you know, you've got a Samsung TV that can play Xbox games. Well, here's something quick and easy for you to use. Like, if this is, I don't want to say like $30, but let's say like, I feel like a lot of 8BitDo controllers are like, I don't know, if I just Google 8BitDo, 8-bit. Ah, gosh dang it. 8BitDo. Yeah, a lot of these controllers seem to be around like let's see. Okay, here's an 8BitDo Xbox controller that costs. I'm still scrolling. Where to buy, maybe? Come on, it's gotta have a price somewhere around here. Okay, that's a Forza thing. That's what I want. Oh my gosh, why is it so hard just to find a price for this stupid thing? Okay, 8BitDo Pro 2 is like $30. And 8BitDo Ultimate 2C is around $30. Where's like the Xbox? I know I saw like an Xbox one. Okay, Xbox 8BitDo controllers. Okay, this one's about 50-ish bucks. This one's closer to 30. That one's wired, though. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know how much an Xbox controller costs. But if they can keep the price down on this thing, you know, if they can keep it cheap enough, I don't think it'll be much of an issue. It's just, you know, who is this exactly for? Because as we've seen with Google Stadia and Amazon Luna, how many people are actually using this stuff? Like, Xbox always talks about their cloud services, but if it's clear from all this Game Pass changes, there's not a lot of people who actually care about this stuff. And that given the chance, they would be happy to remove all the cloud services from their Game Pass subscription in order to get it cheaper. I don't know, I'm not a cloud gaming guy. I prefer to have, like, the actual console and the physical games. I see in theory where this could be useful. It's just a question of will it. But having a controller that directly hardwires into the Wi-Fi, not hardwires, but, you know, directly connects to Wi-Fi, I know will be better. That'll better support, you know, Amazon Cloud or Microsoft Cloud Gaming. This is a thing that exists. I'm sure some people will like it. I am not one of those people. And then the other controller is the Elite 3. So, I remember people talking about the Elite and the Elite 2 as, like, some of their favorite controllers. That the Elite 2 is actually, like, one of the nicest feeling controllers out there. I've heard great things about the Xbox Elite controller. I've also heard terrible things, on the other hand. Specifically that they're pretty faulty, that they break pretty easily, that basically after like 6 months of owning one, the sticks will start to break down. That I think there's problems with the bumpers as well. That for this controller, you're paying, you know, potentially $200 for. Xbox Elite Controller Series 2. Yeah, $157 to $200 for an Elite controller. I've heard they feel great, but the quality is just awful. There is no good quality control. Look it up. I see this post on Reddit. It's the single best controller you will ever have for 6 months. And yeah, that kind of sums up what I've heard about the Elite controllers, is that they're really good controllers, but they just fall apart. And that sucks. That sucks. Nostradamus said that on Reddit. But no, that is genuinely a great description of everything I've heard. So, what do we have new with this Elite controller? Well, it has interchangeable D-pad and paddles, which I'm pretty sure the current Xbox Elite controllers also have. It's got some new mysterious buttons on it. What these new mysterious buttons do, I don't think we know. It does have that pair button. You know, the one that allows it to connect to Wi-Fi and local that the cloud controller has. It seems to also have that. But it also seems to have two, like, new, like, center buttons. Maybe they're just because I know current Xbox controllers also have, like, 2 buttons. They've got, like, a media button and, like, a share button, or, you know, I think it's supposed to be, like, settings and whatnot. Because, you know, no controller has start and select anymore. They instead have just, like, a settings button, which is supposed to be, like, a start or select. I don't know. What game controllers people need changes a lot. So, this could be something like that. Ooh. The other big thing this controller seems to have is scroll wheels. That at the bottom of the controller, you know, where in like other things they have like a little like thing to like plug in headphones or like charging docks and whatnot. Instead of having something like that, well, it also does look like it kind of has something like that, but it also has 2 scroll wheels. Like, you know, like think like a mouse wheel. And the question is, what is this for? why does this controller have 2 scroll wheels on it? And of course, I've seen a few suggestions. One of them is that maybe it's used for, like, adjustments. You know, there are other controllers, I think 8-Bit Do again, where you can, like, change the joysticks to be like, hey, do you want to, like, fully pull down on the stick? Or do you want to just lightly pull on the stick? Like, what kind of thing, or, like, pull on the trigger, I mean. Like, you can change it to be either, like, a big pull or, like, a small, like, click. Is this something like that, where maybe you can adjust those things? And, you know, maybe you can adjust, like, how sensitive the buttons are, or other different, like, forms of sensitivity on the controller. It could be that level of customization. The other possibility is this a new control method? You know, like a scroll wheel on a mouse that they're putting into the game. Because I think of stuff like, is it the Playdate that has the hand crank on it? And, like, games have played around with, like, that hand crank as an input method. Is this trying to do something similar, where it's giving you, like, 2 quick access scroll wheels on the bottom that you're able to, like, play around with as input methods? Because, you know, I saw someone speculate, like, Microsoft Flight Sim, that maybe you could use, like, scrolling wheels for that. Gosh dang it. And that would make sense. I could see that as being input methods. Because the other thing I think about is that, according to the rumors and kind of what we've heard about Project Helix seems like it's going to be a PC console hybrid, where it's going to have elements of Xbox, but it's also going to have PC elements. So what if these wheels these scroll wheels they're putting on the bottom of Xbox controllers is going to be a new way to help you control that interface? You know, I think of, like, on the new Steam controller, they have the touchpads at the bottom that allow you to basically use it as, like, a mouse. Is this something like that? And realistically, I could see that. I think that makes sense. It's just the position is weird, how they potentially work is weird, so maybe this is what Xbox is going for. Maybe we're completely off base. We don't know. Like I mentioned earlier, there's the button, because this does have both Bluetooth and Wi-Fi support, so it can be used in cloud gaming. And then it also has a rechargeable battery. It does look like it's going to be removable, so yeah, if you want to change it out with something, that also seems to be an option. But yeah, I think it's good that Microsoft is moving away from AA batteries. They're the ones clinging on, and I don't know why. I mean, someone explained it once. I don't remember what their explanation was. So I did hear someone once give a decent explanation as to why Xbox still used batteries. It might have been an affordability thing. I don't entirely remember. But it's literally, I can't even remember the last time I had, you know, it used to be one of those things, like, as a kid, we used to be buying AAA batteries all the time. Everything used up AAA and AA batteries. Nowadays, I maybe buy a big, like, Costco pack of AA batteries once a year, if that. Like, literally, the only thing I can think of that I've used AA batteries on in recent months is that Talking Flower Nintendo sold. That uses AA batteries. Outside of that, I have not used one in a controller. I have not used them in a TV room. I do have a TV remote that does use AAAs, and as far as I'm aware, I have never had to change the batteries out in it. So, yeah, you know, Xbox moving away from it, it makes sense. It's just one of those logical things that was going to happen eventually. I do wonder, does this thing have gyro? Because Xbox, as far as I'm aware, is the only controller that doesn't have a gyroscope in it. Nintendo obviously has gyroscope in their controllers. They were the first ones to do it. PlayStation copied Nintendo, that's what they do. And then Valve put it in their new Steam controller, because hey, guess what? That's a good substitute for a mouse on a controller, is letting players use a gyroscope on top of, you know, their weird little touchpads. I don't know. I've heard the new Steam controller is great, and I've heard one of those things that helps it out is gyro mouse controls. So, yeah, I am a firm believer that every controller should have a gyroscope in it, and let us use it for stuff like aiming and control and like movement. Nintendo went so far as they have a gyroscope, and then they put a fucking mouse in their controller anyways. Yeah, it works fine. It's nothing super special. It works fine though. And yeah, Xbox should put a gyroscope in their controller. Just, they work so well. Like, I know a lot of people got really worried about motion controls because of the Wii and the PlayStation Move and the Kinect. But we're over 15 years past that. And we've taken what worked about that stuff, preserved it, and gotten rid of everything else. So yeah, we should get gyro. But yeah, my prediction, as is most people's, is we're going to see this next month. During the Xbox showcase, Asha Sharma or somebody else will come out, they'll show off the cloud controller real quick, and then they'll show off the Elite controller, which I do, we talked about price point. I expect the Elite controller to also be around that 150 to 200 range. I don't think it'll be more than that. This isn't affected by the chip shortage. It's affected by the oil shortage. Yeah, Trump's fucked over everything. But less so, controllers. That's why Valve launched theirs when they did. But yeah, I do think we'll probably see this next month. And then maybe we'll find out more about it from there. I think that is also very logical. And that they come out later this year. I think both of them, I could see them both coming out at the same time, but also if, the cloud controller is like a, hey, you can buy this thing now, and then the other one comes later this year, I also wouldn't be too surprised, or maybe vice versa. I just feel like you would want to get these out ASAP. But I think there's less of needing that, like, the Elite already has the Elite 2, whereas the Cloud doesn't really have anything like that, but I don't think that's a big end of the world thing. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I am excited for the Microsoft show next month. There's some stuff I'm interested in. Fable, what's the other one? Fable, and Forza is already out if you're willing to pay a shitload of money. Which, God, I don't even have the time to get into that. People always say, oh, games don't go up in price. Oh, Nintendo's ridiculous for charging $80 for Mario Kart. If you want to play Forza, like, 4 days early, you have to pay an extra, like, $50. Fuck all. Like, yes, it's an optional thing. But, no, the whole $60 is a myth. I'm so fucking sick of it. So yeah, I think that's all I got to say about that. Am I forgetting Beast of Reincarnation? Maybe. I don't know. I'm forgetting something. All right, our next story is about the Zelda movie. So Nintendo came out this week and was like, "Hey, that Zelda movie that's coming out May 7th? Well, surprise, surprise, it's no longer coming out May 7th. Instead, it's now coming out April 30th. So they've basically pushed it up a week. Why did they push it up a week? I have no idea. My guess would be it's like a holiday thing. I feel like most of this, because I think the whole reason the Mario movie got pushed up a few days was because of Easter. So if they're doing the same thing for the Zelda movie, I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know what holiday is in late April or anything like that. It could also be to compete with something else. That some other movie is also coming out April, or, May 7th. And they want to avoid that. Let's see. Any other movies coming out that day? No, it was literally just Zelda. So, yeah, I guess not. I don't know why they moved it up. Because this is the second time they've changed the release date for the movie. The original release date was March 26th. And then eventually they announced that it was getting delayed into May 7th. And now they've pushed it up a week. Maybe they're ahead of schedule. I don't know. I don't know why they did this, but they did it. But the reason why I want to talk about this and not just put it as a bite-sized new thing is because how excited are you for the Zelda movie now? I'll tell you, I'm actually not that excited. Like, yes, there's an old saying that is very relevant to Nintendo games. I mean, it might have even been Miyamoto himself who said it. And it's this idea that things always come in threes when it comes to proving video game stuff. That, if you do something once in a video game, that's a coincidence. Maybe it's just a coincidence you did that. If you do it twice in a video game, well, that's an accident. Maybe you just did that on accident. But if you can do something 3 times, that proves that, yes, you can do that. Why? And this game is a perfect example of that, because all of the Koopaling boss fights, you do in 3 stages. You hit them once to prove that you can do it, twice to do it again, because, hey, maybe the first time you hit them on accident, or coincidence. Second time might have been an accident. But on the 3rd time, you actually defeat him. And that's proof that, yes, you can do the thing, you can beat the boss. You understand how the boss works. Sure, they remix things along the way, but it still gets to the point. So, with the Zelda movie, I'm worried about this movie now, because, yeah, the Mario movie had issues. But you know what? Maybe it was just an accident. Maybe it was a coincidence. Maybe it's just a coincidence that the movie was bad. Then the Mario Galaxy movie had issues. But you know what? Maybe that's an accident. Maybe it's just Illumination. Maybe they have no idea what the fuck they're doing. But now with the Zelda movie, this is the point of, oh no, if this movie is bad, then they're doing it on purpose. And Nintendo just has no idea what the fuck they're doing when it comes to movies. Which, to be fair, my hopes are, on one hand, yes, it's the guy who directed that Planet of the Apes movie last year, and that was a pretty good movie. So that's a good thing. But on the other hand, it's the people who produced the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies, which I don't care what Waffello says on the Escape podcast. The Garfield Spider-Man movies are not good. And it's also the same people who did, the Venom movies, and Madam Web, and Kraven the Hunter, and Morbius. I don't trust these fuckers. Yeah, the director's good, but nothing else. Sure, the set photos all look fine. But I'm rightfully worried. Because if this movie is bad, then that just means Nintendo has no idea what the fuck they're doing. Which wouldn't surprise me, sadly. Well, yes, Nintendo have mastered video games. And they've made some truly amazing games. Even just over the past decade, they've made some truly genre-defining games. And that's not to count, the 30 years of history before that. And yet, when it comes to movies, they have an awful track record. And I'm really worried for the Zelda movie. And, I know a lot of people were like, oh, well, if it had been animated, I don't think that would have changed things. If they had gotten, the animation studio that does Spider-Verse to do it, I still don't think that would have changed anything. Even though the Spider-Verse people doing it would have been pretty fucking cool. So yes, moving the Zelda movie a week up doesn't really change anything, but I'm just worried now. Like, man, I was so hopeful for the Galaxy movie. Because maybe it was just a coincidence that the first one was not that great. I mean, it was still fine. The second one was still fine, but it could have been so much more. And the Zelda movie, like, yes, I know Nintendo doesn't really care about story, and that the Zelda timeline is just kind of ramshackled together a bunch of games that really have no interest in actually being connected. Why do you think they abandoned the Zelda timeline? Because it doesn't actually fucking matter. But no, Zelda has the potential to be great, and I have no hope in it. Really, like, yes, it could be amazing, but I'm not, like, holding my breath or anything. And that just breaks my fucking heart. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll be amazing. I definitely want it to be. But god damn it, Nintendo. Wow, we've really been taking our sweetest time with this one. I always think of this, because I think we're going back up here. Yeah, this room, always the coinless challenge. I don't know why, but that room always makes me think of the coinless challenge. That, and I think there's a castle one later on. Maybe that's this game. It might be the new Super Mario Bros. Wii. I don't know, whatever. Alright, let's talk about GTA. So, over on Twitter this week, there's an account called Cheap Ass Games. They're kind of like Wario64 when it comes to deals. Admittedly, they're not as fast as Wario64, but I'd still probably say they're like second or third. They're still, if you're looking for like gaming deals and for stuff to be posted quickly, they're actually a pretty decent account. And there's sometimes they post stuff that Wario64 doesn't. Sometimes. They're a lot better to follow than the IGN one, which the IGN one, they also have their moments, but let's not worry about it. So they got some things this week that implied that, according to Best Buy, GTA 6 will be going on pre-order on Monday. So on Monday, you will be able to pre-order GTA 6. Now, originally, people were obviously skeptical about this, but the more research that was done, the more people looked into it. They provided more proof that, yes, this was a real email. And, of course, we've also gotten stores that have been like, hey, here's an email our store was sent about, looking forward to GTA pre-orders. Admittedly, some of those emails are a little different. Specifically, they say that pre-orders are going up sometime next week. So specifically between the 18th and the 21st. But either way, there is seeming ample evidence that yes, sometime in the next week, we will be getting GTA 6 pre-orders. Which I had previously said that if we were going to get anything on GTA 6, it would have to be sometime this month. Whether it be pre-orders or a delay. Because so far, every time GTA 6 has been delayed, they did it about 6 months out of the reveal. Of, the release. So, when it got delayed from, May to November. Or maybe that was the second. Okay, when it got delayed from November to May, they revealed that in May. And then when it got delayed from May to November of this year, they announced that in November. So usually they try to keep at least 6 months ahead of time about whether or not the game's getting delayed. Now, the last delay, when it happened, Jason Schreier came out and was like, yeah, the last release date was never going to hold. Even internally, employees at Rockstar knew they weren't going to make that date. And that was just a date they were putting out to, appease shareholders. Now, for this release date, for the current one of May, 19th, Jason Schreier has been a lot more like, no, this one might stick. It's not guaranteed. You know, anything is, at the end of the day, still possible. But I feel like the last time I heard Jason Schreier talk about this release date, he was like, yeah, you know, this one's a lot more likely. And so, you know, when it comes to that, this was the week we were going to find out. Is this actually going to be the release date, or is it getting delayed? So the last time it was delayed was, I want to say it was like, right, it was like the first week of May. It got delayed very early on. So we hadn't heard anything yet, but that's okay. Again, they do it probably a month out. And I want to say the current release date is November 19th. Okay, I was right about that. I didn't actually write that down in my notes. So we knew we were going to get something. You know, at some point, either this week or next week, they were going to have to tell us something. And now, us getting pre-orders, I would take that as a good sign that, yes, the game is coming out in November. Now, there is always the chance that they announce pre-orders alongside announcing that the game is delayed until May of next year. That is also totally 100% within the realm of possibility. But that when they say that, yes, the game's being delayed until, like, let's say May 22nd next year, they know for a fact that that is the guaranteed release date. That no matter what, they will meet that date. But if it's not getting delayed and, you know, they're announcing pre-orders now for November, that makes it seem like, no, it will not be delayed. That makes it feel much more certain. Of course, they could always delay it. Again, there have been some games that got delayed a week or two before their release date. I mean, Mina the Hollower, which comes out, you know, in like 2 weeks, originally had a Halloween release date. And then they stopped it like a week or two before. There was another one that also got delayed like a week or two before its release date because they found like some game-breaking bug in the game. And they were like, yeah, we have to delay it or else, you know, this is only going to end poorly. So, you know, stuff can always still happen. But I feel like, yeah, once they do that pre-order, it's basically them saying that, yes, we're going to try our hardest to stick to that release date. You know, if all else. Because, like, let's say, like, something happens with, like, the multiplayer. They can always get the main game out and delay the multiplayer. Even though I also fully do not expect the multiplayer to be there at launch. I do fully suspect that the multiplayer will come, you know, 2-3 months later, like it did with GTA 5. Because there was a bit of time between them. I don't remember how long, but it was a little bit. But yeah, if we're getting pre-orders this week, the other thing that means is that if they're setting up pre-orders, we will probably be getting a trailer. You know, so far we had one trailer about a year ago, and yeah, it was a decent trailer, it showed off some, and so usually Rockstar games don't actually have that many trailers. They usually only do like 2 or 3, so I think this could be like our second big trailer. And then we get another one like 2 or 3 months out from the game that really focuses on like the open world aspects of things and, you know, exploring Vice City. And then, yeah, that's it. And then the game comes out. I don't know. There's a part of me that actually kind of wants to play GTA 5 because I never beat the campaign of GTA 5. It's just, I just didn't really care. Like, I know that's a harsh way to put at it, but yeah, I was having fun, you know, just playing the game. Eventually Online came out and we shifted focus over to that for a little bit. And yeah, I never beat the campaign of GTA 6, or GTA 5, I mean. I never even played Red Dead 2. So they're kind of like the same reason I've always wanted to go back to Skyrim. There's a part of me that wants to go back to GTA 5 just to actually do the campaign. Because I've never really done it. I don't know, we'll see if that ever happens, but it's definitely something I've thought about. Now, my one last hope for GTA 6 predictions. And we've seen no evidence of this either way. As far as I'm aware, there's been nothing that either conform... As far as I'm aware, there has been no evidence of this either way. Nothing that confirms nor denies it. But I think it would be really funny if when they show off this new trailer, it's GTA 6 coming to PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and Nintendo Switch 2. Because there was that rumor a few months ago that they were trying to get a Switch 2 version of the game running. And so far, it seems like they had something. So the idea that before PC, we are getting GTA 6 on Switch 2. GTA 6 on Switch 2 before Red Dead, before GTA 5. I don't know why, but that's just the funniest thing in the world. Not out of like I really desperately want this game on Switch 2. More out of the amount of fanboys who would just have a meltdown over the fact that GTA 5 runs on Switch 2. And, it's not as good as the PS5 or the Xbox Series X, but it runs fine. It's a stable 30 frames per second. It looks okay. Basically the Cyberpunk 2077 port. If they did that, that would be so funny. So I kind of desperately want that. I don't think it's happening. I put it at a 3% chance. But man, is that a funny 3%. I don't know, we'll have to see. There's been a rumor about Red Dead Redemption 2 coming to Switch 2 for a long time now. And so far, we've gotten nothing. So maybe that'll never happen. I still stand by that the OG Switch 1 can run GTA 5. I mean, allegedly, Vice City, that GTA collection, that trilogy collection, sold best on Switch between the three major consoles. So, anything is possible. I totally believe Rockstar has a development kit. I don't think it's going to happen. But God, would it be funny if it did. Now, would I play it on my Switch 2 over my PS5? Probably not. Nah, I'd probably rather play on PS5, because, I actually know that's gonna run really good and really smoothly, and, it's gonna look nice. But just the idea of it existing at all, it's just so good. It's too good to pass up. But that's just my thoughts on that. It's not gonna happen, but God, is it funny in my head. Alright, let's talk about Byte-Sized news. So the big thing is, a long time ago... Oh, the talking flower fell asleep. Oh, shit. Okay, so a long time ago, Nintendo announced that on top of doing the champions from Breath of the Wild, they were also going to be doing Minoru's Construct. From Tears of the Kingdom. On top of doing, the sages from Tears of the Kingdom, they were also going to be doing a Minoru's Construct amiibo. And we heard about it, I don't know, probably a year ago, maybe a little earlier than that even, because the other Sage amiibos came out the same day the Switch 2 did. And it was just kind of when are we going to hear about it again? And then, they started doing the Kirby Air Ride amiibos, and we just didn't hear anything for a while. And so there was talk of like, oh, you know, did anything ever happen with that? I feel like there's another amiibo that Nintendo also announced at some point that we just never heard anything from ever again after its initial announcement. But no, finally this week Nintendo sat down and was like, oh yeah, that Minoru's Construct amiibo comes out in September. Specifically September 17th. It's one of the bigger sized amiibo. I don't want to say it's as big as like the new Mario Galaxy amiibos. Like those are pretty big. I want to say it's probably about their size, if not maybe a little bigger than that. But yeah, it comes out in September. I want to say the price is like $30, which I know isn't a lot for an amiibo, but also I know the like Kirby Air Ride amiibos are like $50. It does also, the Minoru's Construct seems to have posable arms. I don't know if it has posable legs, but it definitely looks like it has posable arms. Kind of like, you know, the Guardian amiibo. Which, hey, gosh dang it. Which, yeah, you know, it looks fine. It's Minoru's Construct. Honestly, I don't really actually care for Minoru's Construct's design. It's very bulky, it's very top-heavy. It kind of looks like whatever. The hand, I understand that the hands are stuff you're supposed to attach things to, but as the construct like design goes, I don't actually think it looks that good. I don't know, that could just be a me thing. But hey, we finally have a release date. So that's good, I guess. Let's see, what else? Nintendo announced that the Legend of Zelda Lego set, the Great Deku Tree, will be retiring soon, you know, by the end of the year. I don't remember the exact release date or the exact end date. I just know that it will be retiring soon, which, hey, I do have the Great Deku Tree Lego set. It's a fantastic set. I do recommend, if you're a Zelda fan, I do recommend it. I had a great time building it. It's on the pricey side for sure, but I had so much fun doing it. I would recommend it. I also recommend the new one, the Ganondorf Ocarina Battle, is also a pretty good set. So yeah, if you've ever been interested in any of those, or, you know, you're also hoping we'll get new Zelda sets, hey, well, there you go. Anything else? I don't think I have anything else. Nothing I really care about. I know Sega canceled their Super game, which is like, you know, they were working on this like big game project. And yeah, they've canceled it because, of course, like a lot of other things in the gaming industry, it wasn't going their way. And of course, they're still getting... I remember years ago, Sega came out and was like, hey, we're announcing 8 new games. I feel like that was like 4 years ago. Did any of those ever actually come out? Did we ever get a new Jet Set Radio? Did we ever get a new Crazy Taxi? I remember seeing gameplay. I just don't remember a game actually ever coming out. So, yeah, it's just weird. We're in a weird spot with that. Mercury Studios, the developers behind Metroid Dread and Federation Force, and I think they did Federation Force, Samus Returns, the remake on 3DS, they've seemingly had to lay off some employees, which, you know, layoffs always suck. I have the best hopes for those who got laid off, because Dread was fantastic. They did some great work, and I hope they go on to do other great things. And yeah, I think that's all I got for Byte-Sized News. It's not that much this week. Oh, people found out that Steam Controller, when dropped, occasionally it'll do the Wilhelm scream, but, like, make sure to drop it on, like, a soft surface, and I think you have to be in, like, big picture mode or something. I don't know. It's funny. It's a good joke, you know. People love shit like that. Like, the Switch controller, when it can do funny shit like that. Because it also has, like, its own little Easter egg. Yeah, people like shit like that. I don't know, I'm no expert. Alright, so what have I been enjoying? Well, I got a video game, specifically the sequel to Ultimate Chicken Horse, which came out, I think, earlier this year, maybe late last year, and I never actually got around to it. But this week, I finally sat down and played it, so I do want to talk about it, give some of my fair thoughts. We got the Sheep Detective, which I know last week I had mentioned I was very interested in seeing, but just, you know, due to certain circumstances, kind of ran out of time for. I did get to go see it. I literally saw it, like, the next day. And, spoiler alert, I fucking loved it. And then we also have The Parade of Horribles, the new Dungeon Crawler Carl, Book 8, which I do want to talk about. Because, well, I'm only like 30 chapters in. I do have a few things to say. So we'll talk about that. And we'll get to Marble League and anything else. I forgot to put Superman on the list. Ah, shit. We'll see, we'll see. Alright, let's talk about Ultimate Sheep Raccoon. So, if you've never played Ultimate Chicken Horse, Ultimate Chicken Horse was a game that's been around for a long time now. And it's a 2D platformer, you know, not unlike the Mario game we're currently playing, where you and your friends are racing through a level to get to the goal. Along the way, you open up a box with, like, supplies, and it helps you build out the level. So, you know, you can add more platforms, you can add rotating platforms, but you can also add obstacles, like flamethrowers and crossbows and, you know, shit like that. So the goal, it's a combination of chicken and horse. Chicken is, you know, how close can you get to the edge without going over, and horse is doing something and then seeing if somebody else can replicate it. And if they can't, you get the point. So the idea is you want to create a level that's hard enough that, or you want to create a level that's easy enough that you can beat, but also hard enough that your fellow competitors cannot beat it. That's the main idea behind Chicken Horse. There are thousands of videos on the game. Again, I recommend some Achievement Hunter stuff. They used to play, like, Chicken Horse, like, every week for a while. It's just a really fun game. I've played it a lot. I'm very good at it. That's another reason I really like Chicken Horse, is that I'm very good at Chicken Horse. I've put a lot of time into it. I play it almost entirely on Switch. The Switch version is actually kind of sucks. I'll be honest, the Switch version, the loading times are atrocious. And some of the levels just straight up don't work. Specifically Space, the level Space, every time I've tried to load it, it crashes the game. So, yeah, the Switch version has issues, but it's still also the version I would recommend. It's such a fun game, and I really don't think you're losing out on much by losing the level Space. It's so fun. There's a lot of modifiers so you can change things up. It's just every time you bring it, it's one of those games where, like, you bring it to a group of people. Oh, you know, you're basically just playing Mario. Anybody can play Mario. It's super simple to understand. It gets complicated. It gets crazy. People have a great time. And hey, give it a Switch 2 version. I would, if you put a Switch 2 version, like an upgrade, where, hey, pay $5, and, you know, it's the Switch 2 version, it's got better frame rate, it's got better loading times, and, I don't know, something else. I would pay money for that. It'd be really cool if they did it for free, but, you know what, I'd also happily pay money for it. So they can do whatever they want, the devs. I think it's Clever Endeavor is the developer. So they did their sequel, Ultimate Sheep Raccoon. Because in Ultimate Chicken Horse, there's a chicken, a horse, a sheep, and a raccoon. Those were the 4 starting characters. So the idea behind Ultimate Sheep Raccoon is very similar to Chicken Horse. You're trying to get to a goal, and you want to make the level easy enough that you can get to the end, but hard enough that your fellow players cannot get to the end. The big difference is, whereas Chicken Horse is a 2D platformer like Mario here, Sheep Racoon is a 2D bike game that, you know, you could probably compare to something like Excite Bike. The one it reminds me of is Trials. If you ever played like Trials Evolution or Trials Fusion, one of those games. That's probably a better comparison for Sheep Racoon. And, you know, so every level you go in, you pick which vehicle you're going to, or, you know, you pick your characters. And then from there, you get your little item boxes. Based on what stuff you pick in the item boxes, you can place down. There's, you know, standard, like, oh, you know, I want to put some platforms. There's rotating platforms. There's grind rails, which you can use. And so you do all that, and then you race through the level to try to get to the goal. Unlike Chicken Horse, where in Chicken Horse, if everybody wins, nobody gets points. And this one, you get points based on what place you're in. So, you know, first place gets a full bar, whereas, like, third place only gets, like, half points, so on and so forth. Every few rounds, instead of getting, like, an item to place in the level, you get a power-up. So there are power-ups like Double Jump, and Umbrella that makes you fall slower, and you can place down like a landmine in the level. And God, someone I was playing with, they loved the landmines. They would start off, race ahead, place a landmine, and you get shot into the fucking stratosphere. Honestly, it's a good idea, and if they did something like that in Chicken Horse, where, you know, every few rounds you got an upgrade that gave you stuff like a double jump, or it allowed you to place, like, again, a landmine, or like a honey trap or something, or they gave you like a slow-mo clock, or that just affected you. I don't know. It's one of those systems where, like, you could implement it in Chicken Horse and it would also work very well. I very much went for a lot of double jumps and speed boosters. But it is a fun game. Ultimate Sheep Racoon is a fun game. One of the things about Chicken Horse is, well, you can play through the game and you can unlock new stuff. The way most people just play it is in a casual party sense. And something I like is that there's actually just a cheat code. You know, like old school NES, SNES cheat code that just gives you everything. And it makes it a great party game, because even if you're like, oh, well, you know, you have a friend who just bought Ultimate Chicken Horse, they can just enter the code and they have everything. I know multiple people who have bought Ultimate Chicken Horse, and I've told them about the code, and they've been so thankful. And I was kind of disappointed to find out Sheep Racoon doesn't have one of those. And so when we started off the game, we only had like 4 levels. And I was kind of disappointed. I was like, oh, is there a way to unlock like the other levels real quick? And nope, you just gotta play and get lucky. We did play for long enough that we did unlock the levels. Those seem to be quick things you unlock very early on. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Another thing the game seems to do a lot of is it relies on user-generated content. Because, like, I'm pretty sure I needed to be connected online to play it. Which, that's definitely not a Chicken Horse thing. Admittedly, I didn't try playing it offline. And, like, maybe it was just, hey, the first time I booted it up, I needed, like, an online connection. I'm not entirely sure. But we did mess around with one of the user-generated levels. Someone made that one that was, like, a lot of speed boosts. And, God, it was so funny, because you'd be racing along, and then someone just placed a wall, and it just would completely fuck over everybody. And we got some really funny things out of it. So you know, like, there is stuff that is non-user generated, but then there is stuff that is user generated. And whether that's good or bad all depends on the quality of user generation. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But we messed around with it like for like 1 or 2 levels, and it was all fine. But yeah, overall, I had a good time with Ultimate Sheep Racoon. I don't know if I would recommend it over Chicken Horse. I feel like there's a certain purity, a simplicity to Chicken Horse. It especially helps that it's been out long enough that there are so many levels, there are so many modifiers, there's just a lot to do in Chicken Horse. Whereas because Sheep Racoon is newer, there are fewer levels, there are fewer things to do. That I don't want to say this game suffers because of it, but there's just less. So I would still probably recommend Ultimate Chicken Horse first, but I had a decent time with Sheep Racoon. I'm glad I eventually got around to it, because it's been one of those things that's been on my radar for a while now. Literally since before it came out, like since it was announced. I've been like, I'm gonna play that eventually. And then, yeah. I played it on Switch 2. I had no issues running it on Switch 2. It is weird, because, you know, kind of like, they did the Balatro thing, where, you know, with some games, you can either buy a Switch 1 version, and then get the Switch 2 upgrade, or you can just buy the Switch 2 version. Chicken Horse didn't do that. You could either buy the Switch version, or the Switch 2 version. Which was kind of weird. Like, I'm sure there are other games that have done that. Again, Balatro kind of did that in a weird way. But I do not know how the game runs on OG Switch. If it's anything like Chicken Horse, it's probably okay with like one or two big issues. That, again, I don't think are that big. It's just, honestly, the big issue in Chicken Horse is I just know anytime I want to play Chicken Horse, I have to boot up the game like 3 minutes beforehand. Because the opening loading screen takes like 3 minutes. But other than that, you know, I had no problems with Sheep Racoon on Switch 2. And yeah, if you've played a lot of Chicken Horse, you'll probably have a good time here. But if you've never played Chicken Horse, I just recommend Chicken Horse. It's good. It's so good. It's worth your time. It is one of those games that is multiplayer. You really, like, I'm sure there is some solo free play stuff you can do in it, but I've never done that. In the, God, however many hours I have in Chicken Horse. I actually have no, how many hours do I have in Chicken Horse? Because I've been playing it for years upon years now. And luckily, the Switch now keeps track of all your data. Let me see real quick if I can find Chicken Horse. Chicken Horse. It's like a horse, but with chickens. It's also Chicky Doo. I know that's what Achievement Hunter used to call it, and I used to just call it that all the time. God, I miss them, but I'm also fully aware that they had to end. Okay, I'm not finding it. I'm just really scrolling through this real quick. So I'm definitely not doing a thorough search. That's for damn sure. Oh, there it is. Okay, I've put over 30 hours in Chicken Horse. So that's not like a crazy amount of time, but that's still more than a day. Alright, so speaking of sheeps, let's talk about the Sheep Detective. So, if you had not seen the trailer for this movie, it had been showing before everything I'd seen recently. You know, like, it was shown before, like, Hoppers. It was shown before other examples that I can't think of. I don't know, I feel like I had seen this trailer. I think it was shown before Project Hail Mary. I had seen this trailer a bunch. And so, if you don't know, the basic premise of this movie, The Sheep Detectives, is that there's a flock of sheep, and their shepherd, played by Hugh Jackman, is murdered. And every night before bed, the shepherd would read the sheep a book. Specifically, some of his favorite books were murder mysteries. So because of this, you know, when the shepherd gets murdered, the sheep decide, like, hey, you know, we've read all these murder mysteries. Let's try to solve our shepherd's murder. Because obviously he's been murdered. And yeah, that's the basic premise of the movie. And it's one of those, I would describe it like K-pop Demon Hunters, where it's an innate, wacky, weird premise that totally could not work. Like, in the right people's hands, this movie would be awful. But if you give it to the right people, which is a lot rarer, mind you, but if you find the right director and the right writer and the right actors, you're gonna have an amazing movie. And guess what? You've got an amazing movie. The Sheep Detectives is my second favorite movie of the year, only behind Project Hail Mary, and I would honestly say they're both right there next to each other. It's interesting that they both have Lord and Miller involved. Lord and Miller directed Hail Mary, but then they're also producers on this movie because their production company worked on it. Weird thing I didn't know until I got to the credits. Hey, Anti-Anonymous, how you been doing? And no, you should not listen to the new Drake album. All three of them. They fucking suck. Drake is a terrible artist, and he literally just shat out a bunch of mixtapes to throw on the charts, and they're all fucking awful. Fuck Drake. I ain't the biggest hater, but oh boy am I a hater. There's nothing false about him. That's the worst part. There's nothing false about him. Because Drake is allegedly a pedophile. I mean, does that really give you any surprise when the president is also allegedly a pedophile? And that's like, I hated Drake before the whole Drake and Kendrick thing. Like, that just validated everything I thought. I already hated the guy long before then. Not saying he was always bad. Kind of like Kanye, he did some good stuff back in the day, but that was a long fucking time ago. He's just shit. He's a shit musician who makes shit music. He's a terrible person. Everybody who's worked with him hates him. Yeah, old Drake stuff is fine. And I'm talking like well over a decade at this point. But yeah, nah, fuck Drake. So yeah, this Sheep movie is so goddamn good. I think it has a decent mystery. I'm not gonna give away the mystery. I will say though, I did not figure it out. I do not separate art from artists. Fuck that. 'Cause at the end of the day, you're still giving them money. It's worth seeing the Sheep movie in theaters. It's so fucking good. It's well written, and yeah, I did not see the plot twist coming. I know other people did, and yeah, there are some hints. There are some things that happen mid-ish way through the movie where I was like, okay, if I had just thought about these clues a little bit more, I definitely would have put it all together. It is a good detective because what makes a good detective story is when they give you all the clues and it's just, hey, you know, from the right point of view, you would be able to figure this out as well. You know, if you had the same experience or the same backgrounds, you would be able to come to the same conclusions. Whereas a bad detective movie, the detective just pulls things out of their ass and just makes some shit up and somehow gets everything correct. No, this is a good detective movie. The detective work is all really good. I think it all makes sense. There's like one or two things that I wish they maybe explained a little bit more, but like I get where it's coming from. They do technically set it all up correctly. So yeah, it's good. It's a good, well-written movie with some really great, lovable characters. No, I actually never did get around to seeing that Avatar movie. I will eventually. I'm still kind of hoping they put it out in theaters. But, I mean, regardless, I'll get around to it eventually. Just, I haven't yet. I'm kind of in no rush. But yeah, I loved this Sheep Detective movie, man. It does a really good job at explaining everything. It is it is a kid's movie, but more than that, it's a family movie. I think it does a good job at explaining the detective story, where, like, adults will do it in a way where it's like, yeah, you're an adult, you'll figure it out. But it also explains the necessity of how detective stories work, so that way kids who have never heard of a detective story in their lives will figure it out. No, they won't put it in theaters. That's the reason they like the movie. I don't know. It's very complicated with because yes, they are not putting it in theaters, but I could, Paramount, nobody's gonna stream it. So why not just put it in theaters and see who will go actually see it? Why not take a bet? I mean, how much money the Amazing Digital Circus is about to make? You know how much money Markiplier did make? Like, for fuck's sake. And yes, I will see Doomsday in theaters. And that new Spider-Man that comes out at the end of, end of July. But yeah. Another thing the Sheep movie does really well is because it is a movie about, a murder mystery. It is a murder mystery movie. They obviously have to handle the topic of death, because someone was murdered. And, there are some kids' movies that talk about death, and, they have very, mushy, mooly feelings about it. No, the Sheep Detective has a very serious, multiple, very serious scenes about death. And I cried my fucking eyes out. I cried 4 times in this Sheep movie. It's so fucking good. And it handles its topic so well and with such frivolity that I loved it. Oh my gosh. And yeah, it's one of those things where it's like an adult could see this and get it. But also a kid can see this and also get it because the movie respects kids. And it respects their intelligence and their ability to deal with darker subject matters. Because, this isn't Watership Down. This is more, Never-Ending Story. But it's very good at its job. Oh my god, is it good at its job. The movie I had previously been comparing the Sheep Detectives to was Paddington. That's kind of what this felt like, was that this was this year's Paddington. I still do make that comparison. It still does kind of remind me of Paddington. I will say, though, whereas Paddington is very funny, it's got a lot of good, funny moments with great comedic timing, especially the second one. Oh my gosh. The Sheep Detectives isn't as funny, but its serious moments, I think, are a lot more emotional. Whereas Paddington has, one good, serious moment. This movie, the entire third act, is just very serious and very emotional, but not in, an overwhelming way. God, it's just so good. Man, I loved this Sheep movie. I'm so glad I saw it. I saw it with a full house. Okay, maybe not full house, but pretty close to it. And oh my god, it's so good. Yes, I'm glazing the fuck out of this movie because it deserves it. You know, people always bitch about how there's not enough original movies in Hollywood. And while, yes, this is based on a book, it's nothing like anything else. This blows the Mario Galaxy movie out of the fucking water, man. It is that good. Oh my gosh. You just haven't experienced real Peak. Like, you think you know Peak, and then you see the Sheep movie and it's like, oh shit. And no, I don't play Friend Slop. And I hate to say it, then you're not watching good movies. If you've only seen 3 or 4 good movies since 2019, then you aren't watching enough movies. There is so much good shit out there. And you really need to broaden your horizons. There is so many good things. Because I don't have any friends. That's why I don't play Friend Slop. What else? What else do I have to glaze about this Sheep movie? It's heartfelt. It's okay funny. Like, it's got its moments. But it's not the funniest thing in the world. Make friends. If only it was that easy. You kids, nowadays, you're still in high school. You have it so easy. Wait until you turn 20. And then, or wait until you get out of college. Then becoming friends become impossible. Yeah, and that's for Minecraft. And nothing else. And they only touch that, like, once every, like, 6 months. Anything else I have about the Sheep movie? God, it was just so good. It was so peak, man. I loved it. I loved it so much. I'd watch it all over again. I do. It's based on a book called, like, Three Blinds Bag or something like that. I think it's a German book, it said in the credits. And I'm definitely thinking that maybe I'll check it out. I don't know. I've got too many books right now. But it's definitely something where it's like, yeah, you know, I'll add it to my wish list on Audible, and maybe I'll get around to it. Because if the book is even like half as good as the movie, go see it in theaters. It's worth it. There's more to life than just being a pirate. It sounds like a you problem. Anything else I gotta say? Just go watch it. It's really fun. Do I want to get into spoilers? Nah, I guess not. It's good. The twists are all good. It's very well written. It's very emotional. So yeah, I think that's all I gotta say about that. Alright, let's talk about A Parade of Horribles. So, A Parade of Horribles is the 8th book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. It came out this week. It came out on Tuesday, both in physical print and in audiobook. I highly recommend the audiobooks. They are fantastic. These are... I don't want to say these are, like, the best books currently written, because that would be a lie. But I do... If you're not into reading, like, if you have not read a book since high school, these are the books to read. These books are fantastic. They've got something for everybody. They're fun... They're funny, they're violent, they're emotional, Dungeon Crawler Carl is, yeah, one of the best books of the 2020s. One of the most important books of the 2020s. And so with its 8th book coming out this week, I was obviously very excited. I mean, it's the Parade of Horribles, whatever that ominously means. So, yeah, I love the series. So far, I'm enjoying book 8. I'm kind of treating it like a video game, where, you know, because I do a thing in video games where I try to take my time through new video games, because I don't want to play, like, an entire new Zelda game in a weekend. No, I want to savor it. And I'm kind of doing the same thing with the Parade of Horribles, where it's like, yeah, if I had really tried, I probably could have finished it this week, but also I kind of want to savor the book a little bit. So I'm taking my sweet-ass time with it. So as of this moment, I've only done the first 30 chapters. I don't know how many chapters the book is, but I'll tell you right now, it's longer than 30. If I had to guess, I would guess it's probably at least like triple that, so it's probably closer to 90. I don't know, I haven't actually looked. So far, out of like the 7 races they have to do, we're currently up to like race 3. They just started race 3, I think. So I'm still pretty early on into it. But yeah, I'm having a good time. It's good to have another one of these books. And it's especially going to help when I start rereading them here in a few weeks. Because that's the thing, when you finish Dungeon Crawler Carl, do you, read something similar? You know, do you check out the Bobiverse, He Who Fights Monsters, the Murderbot Chronicles? No, you just reread the books again. And I've been saying I was going to do it, so I'm probably going to start sometime here soon. But yeah, the Parade of Horribles, it starts off, we're on floor 10 of the dungeon, floor 10 of 18, and the whole gimmick of this floor is its vehicle races. They're racing through these different, not obstacle courses, but like, these different, it's races, point A to point B. It's not really like a Mario Kart like lap thing. It's more just get to the end of the track. Along the way, there are terrible monsters and obstacles and all sorts of other things they have to battle. A person who comes in last place gets eliminated, and when I say eliminated, like, they die. Of course, if some team dies along the way, you're also out. Billy approves 7 Cinema. And so, yeah, Carl and Donut are on their team. For the vehicles are randomly chosen, so they get a food truck for a chicken place, and so they have that. There's one team has like a scooter, one team has what's another weird one? I know, it's like some sort of weird convertible thing. There's also an option of, like, animal. They could either do a machine rideable or an animal rideable. So, like, one team has, like, basically an elephant, which obviously isn't working that well. It's not an elephant, but it's something similar. Another team has this, like, tumbleweed, but it's got, like, a bunch of, like, little legs on it. And it's, I guess, like, it's like these tumbleweeds that, like, destroy planets. And so, yeah, we get a lot of fun racing scenarios. One of the twists the book sets out early on is that while in the original race, it's 1 crawler and then 8 AIs. If too many of the AI NPCs get eliminated, eventually they'll start getting replaced with crawlers. So the goal is to eliminate as few teams as possible. No, it doesn't. I'm old school. Sue me. And so you end up getting, early on, you get that complication of like, you know, they have to stay far enough ahead and eliminate one AI enemy team each round. But if they eliminate too many, then eventually it'll become player versus player, which is the last thing they want. Even though there are not that many people left, I want to say there's like 10,000 people left, because I want to say they say like 75% of people took an exit after the 9th floor. All the big players are still here: Carl, Donut, Amani, Ellie, Florian, Lucia, you know, all the big Prepotente. Whoever Prepotente is with this guy named, like, not Javier, but it's something like that. And I guess he was a character from the previous book, but I do not remember him at all. Maybe it's like Jorgen. Maybe his name's Jorgen. I don't remember. I do not remember this character at all from the previous books. And it sucks that Katia's gone. Like early on in the book, Carl goes to hand something, and it's like, "Here, Katia," before realizing, oh wait, she's not here anymore. And yeah, it's funny, because I didn't like Katia at first. When she gets introduced in book 2, I was like, whatever. You know, sure, she's got that cool moment in the Iron Tangle. But it really took some of those later books to get me to really like her. And now that she's gone, I really fucking miss her. And so one of the things early on, in their first race, after the teams are defeated, Donut defeats this, like, flaming narwhal or flaming, like, seal or something. And she gets a choice. She can either take the XP from the enemy, you know, like it's any other mob, or she can have viewers vote on what happens to it. And from there, the enemy either gets sent to the 11th floor to participate in the arena, or it gets a replacement. Viewers can vote what happens to it. They can either send it to the arena, or they send a stand-in. And at the time, I was like, wait, what's that? And then finally, there's a point where whatever her name is, the fish lady who says kill, 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 not Scolopendra, not Signet? Not Signet. Signet's not right. There are over 200 characters in these books. I do not remember, I cannot remember her name off the top of my head. But she's like having a full-on mental breakdown. And so when she does, Zev ends up taking her place, and Zev starts explaining what the Parade of Horribles is. And because I do think this book, well, yes, right now we're doing the races. I think we're also going to be doing the 11th floor as well in this book, because it would make sense with everything that's going on in the 10th. The 10th feels pretty sane, you know, by comparison. But I do think we're going to also do the... because we've done multiple floors in a book before. And while I have no idea what the Parade of Horribles is going to be, it's going to be horrible. You know, whatever it's coming for our crawlers. Because it's clearly some sort of, like, Rat King-style elimination tournament. At least that's what it seems like it is so far. This sort of, like, you know, they're either sending in enemies or the stand-ins, which the stand-ins are people from the Scolopendra Club. And so it's, oh my god, it's building towards something crazy. God, these books are so good. Dan Clancy's gonna retire. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? But yeah, no, I am interested in all this Parade of Horrible stuff. It does sound very interesting. I was expecting it to be a little bit more ominous. Like, I kind of feel like they actually explained it a lot earlier than I thought they were going. Based on the description of the book, it kind of, I thought like, oh, you know, they were going to keep hinting at this Parade of Horribles. But no, they actually, within, again, the first, like, 25 chapters, like, they give you some hints early on, and, like, the AI says something, and I was like, oh, shit, that's what this is. And then, like, a chapter or two later, Zev actually just explains what it is. So it's a little less than mysterious than I thought it was going to be, but there are still several questions, obviously. You know, something horrible is coming. So we got all that. There's a whole so as part of their car, right, Carl can drive, but Donut's a cat. So they get some of the strippers to drive. And this kicks off a whole side quest with Don Quixote and his former lover. I think his name's Corky. And they used to, be in love with each other, but he eventually left. And now he's here on this floor. And so they're going to have to, reunite the two. But if they do, they get to choose two people to send to the 11th floor. Which, yeah, that sounds interesting. The AI is also implying that the whole fate of the universe depends on it. So, yeah, the stakes have always been big in these books. Especially since, the last one, when Carl unleashed the AI on the universe. And now in this book, we find out that the gods are now able to escape the AI influence. And now gods are free upon the universe. And are, while they can't get too far away from, the warp zones, they still are definitely, exerting their influence outside of that. And then Carl just tells everybody in the universe that. Because of course he does, because it's fucking Carl. I'd expect nothing less. But yeah, I've got questions, but I'm intrigued so far with where we're building. At one point they have to fight this giant, T-Rex kangaroo thing, and Carl has to put on one of the dead, Joey skins, but it gets trapped on him, so now he's, stuck in this weird, kangaroo mutant costume, and, yeah, that's funny imagery, that's good, especially because, he's been in his underwear for the previous 7 books. Not that I think it really matters. But, it's just about what crazy scenarios and whatnot we can put these characters into. And so far, it's doing a good job. The last thing I'll bring up is the Pineapple Cabaret. So, not in the audiobooks, but in the physical books, there's, a bonus chapter that's called Backstage at the Pineapple Cabaret. And there have been 7 of these. But now, this is the first time in one of these books that the Pineapple Cabaret has actually been mentioned within the book itself. I have actually never read the Pineapple Cabaret chapters, so maybe I should actually do that. Still talking about Dungeon Crawler Carl. So yeah, maybe I'll actually do that finally, but probably not until after I finish the book. But clearly, that's important. Pineapple Cabaret, it's like a club. I think. I don't know. It's implied that it's a fate worse than death at one point, so maybe I'm completely wrong. No new anime at this point. But yeah, I'm where I left off in the book. We're right at the start of Heat 3. So and there's these Day of the Dead skulls that skull fuck you and eat your brain. So I'll see what happens with that next chapter. I want to play Rivals. Now that they've added Devil Dinosaur, I want to play as Devil Dinosaur. But I'll do that another day. We're now going to switch over to Marble League. Now that we've done this, I think it only makes sense for us to switch over. Let's do some Marble League. We're at a good stopping point. Because, yeah, we're heading into the Soda Jungle. So, yeah, I guess we'll continue that. And I think we're going to go back and do World 4. But we'll do that next time. Yeah, Devil Dinosaur from the fantastic TV show Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, which I'm really glad they brought back the voice actors from the TV show. Both Diamond White and I don't remember who plays Devil. They're in the show, they're in the game. Diamond White is fantastic as Moon Girl. It sucks that she's not a playable character. The developers did eventually come out and explain Moon Girl is not a playable character because China has strict laws against violence against minors. And while they could have just pulled a Penny Parker and aged her up, they didn't want to do that. They wanted to keep her at, I think she's 12 or something. I don't remember how young she is. Yeah. Yeah, I really liked the Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur show. I highly recommend it. And I do want to jump back into the game just to play as Devil. Because Devil's pretty cool. Alright, so we're hopping back into Marble League. We got 2 events, the hurdles and the funnel endurance. Both are pretty short. Alright, let me hit that. Let me hit that. And let me hit that. Oops.
As we take our retrospective look at the history of the Marble
League,
this event
man.
First appeared at the very first
Team's still not in it, so that
2016.
sucks.
This
You know,
is
we're still
the
rooting for the Raspberry Racers, but we'll do what we can.
Time that this will be contested.
Holy shit, the golden orbs? In the Quicksilvers? Wow, I haven't seen them in forever.
Side to side, bumping against the wall.
They're about as good as they used to be.
For Noxious Ivy, but I dare say that was a good time. I'll wait for the official timing and scoring.
Oh my god.
And I know this is just the demo run. Yes, there's no pressure
Well,
of the
yeah.
actual games, but a 6.566.
The golden orbs and the Quicksilvers are about as good as I remember.
The record, by the way, Mocha.
Actually, the Quicksilver. If that was really the Quicksilvers, they would have come in last.
6.468.
But hey, it's cool to see. Again, it gives me hope that at some point we'll be one of the demo teams.
In fourth,
Alright, here we are. Raspberry Racers.
Oceanics here in Heat A. The Racers have won this event.
Alright, we're taking first. We're off to a good start. We just have to make top 2.
Oceanics down on the bottom will take it to the line.
I'll take it.
And they will advance.
Yep, we needed that. It was close. It was definitely close, but win's a win.
6.246, 6.252. Hazers, who are 4th in the championship, they're eliminated. Savage Speeders, Blackjacks, Solar Flares, and the Cobalts.
Boo, Solar Flares, boo.
Off they go. Savage Speeders with the early lead. Solar Flares got caught on the early hurdle, and now here come the Blackjacks. They will win it. Savage Speeders advance, but what happened to the Solar Flares on the very first hurdle? They got caught up, and whenever you do that, it's really hard to make that momentum start again.
Wow.
8-7-1.
That's, I think, the slowest I've seen in a long time.
Savage Speeders. They move on. Blackjacks by about half a second. Solar Flares, they were in third.
All right, here's the Green Ducks.
Overall standings. Here's the team in second.
They've been doing awful this year.
Green Ducks.
And so I was talking to the person I know who's a fan of the Green Ducks. And I was joking with them because they're also a fan of the Green Ducks hockey team.
Yellow marbles.
And I was making a joke that them rooting for the Green Ducks in hockey is what's killing the Green Ducks in the Marble League.
They are eliminated.
They don't know. They have not watched any of the season. But
the doors open. Team Plasma, Indigo
Stars. The hockey team has been. They're not even really a fan of the Green Ducks. They're Red Wings fans, but the Red Wings are out.
Second hurdle. They are building an insurmountable lead. The battle is for second, and it goes to the Indigo
So yeah,
Stars.
they've cursed the Green Ducks.
I have to wait a little bit on this replay. That was a wide margin. 6.856 over 0.6 of a second. Well, 9th through 16th, they are set, and there are some heavy hitters in this one from Green Ducks on down. A few top 5 teams in there. Several top 10.
God, yeah, that's Solar Flares. That's just,
well, wherever your
that's
team
just
is,
bad. That's the worst I've seen, which is good for us because, yeah, boo Solar Flares,
those
boo.
of you who are team sponsors, thank you for putting your weight behind your favorite and cheering them on, hopefully, to the gold medal. First semifinal, it's Oceanics, Blackjacks, Pinkies, and the Bumblebees. 3 captains in the field. Blackjacks in lane 2. Pinkies again. They are resurgent. Can they hold on? Yes. Blackjacks will join them in the final. After that great showing in their first heat, you have to wonder if the Pinkies
that's about what I would
too
expect.
much. Pinky Toe says, no, I'm good.
The Pinkies, I mean, they've been doing Because host cursed isn't real. You know, it used to be a real thing, and it's just not.
By the way, Mellow Yellow, Savage
All right, come on, Ruzzy.
Raspberry Racers, and the Indigo Stars. Indigo Stars on
We're
the
normally
bottom.
pretty good at this.
Raspberry Racers in lane 3. Here come the Speeders in 2.
But we're going up against the Savage
Stars,
Speeders.
our championship
Now,
leader,
the Indigo Stars
they make it to
should
the
not be
final.
that good.
Savage
They should
Speeders,
not be
who
doing
won this
that
event
well.
The very first time it was held, that was with
But the Savage
Speedy,
Speeders,
the
that's to be
Marble
expected
Racing
from them.
Right here, and captain of the Savage Speeders back in 2016. Fifth through 8th. Bumblebees were 6th in the standings. Raspberry Racers are denied a 3rd win at this event. Mellow Yellow 5th in the standings.
Because, yeah, Raspberry Racers are usually pretty good at that.
They were in 8th. Well, whatever your team is, if you like their show,
oh, you know what else I didn't watch?
You could have them show
Game
up
Oververse.
at your home.
That
Pick
came
out
out
any of your favorite
yesterday,
team sets or get the
and
collector's
I was
set that
going
has
to watch
32
it,
different
but
teams
I just
in it,
didn't.
And you can race them either on
I'll get
the
around to
Hyperloop
it, though.
or the Skyway Chase. And
I also got to get
always,
around to
big
Digital
shout out to our
Circus, because
YouTube
that comes
members.
to theaters in
Every
like 2
tier you
weeks,
occupy,
and I've
you are
already got
helping
tickets.
us bring these games to you wherever you may be around the world, and we thank you for that. The final, Savage Speeders, Indigo Stars, Pinkies and the Blackjacks. Off they go. Pinkies are in last, but now
Yeah,
they're
this is
recovering.
just the.
They're in second.
I would say this is
Speeders
the Savage
make up the
Speeders to
lead.
lose,
Pinkies
but
to the line.
that was actually.
It's gonna be a
I think
photo
the
finish.
Pinkies did win, but that was actually very
Who got
close.
it? Between the Pinkies and the
That was a
Savage
lot.
Speeders.
Savage Speeders really tightened that gap in the last like
2016
second.
winners versus our 2022 winners, latter of whom is the Pinkies. They've got the lead now, but watch, they go high up on the walls, they get off center. And
It's the Pinkies, but
goal.
barely. If it had been, you know,
By
5.5
2
meters, it would have been the
milliseconds.
Speeders. That was
The captain
close.
of the Pinkies beats the captain of
Holy
the Savage
crap.
Speeders for gold. Indigo Stars.
Even if it had just been
the
like probably like
bronze.
5.2,
Blackjacks come in.
Speeders would have
fourth.
won that.
Oh, you can feel the power today. Pinkies had 27 points. Coming into this round, they sat in 12th in the standings. They get 25 more just today. Scott Barry says, go Savage Speeders. Speed is key to win it all. And happy early anniversary, AYB. Savage Speeders have finished second in this event twice. 2017 and 2023, they do it again here with Speedy. Diego captures the bronze, but Pinky Toe doubles that marble's gold medal total for the cabinet back home. It's the 6th gold for the team and their 22nd medal overall, but really crucially for the fans here in Rosaka, the first medal of these games for the home team.
Yeah, they're
And
down
it's
in
gold.
12. I still, even with them down in 12th, I
Looking
don't
at the
believe Host
standings,
Curse
Indigo
is real.
Stars, they hold on,
Because that
but
moves them all the
Pinkies
way
jump
up to
ahead.
second.
Snowballs fall to 3rd. Savage Speeders
We're
up
not
6.
doing too well.
Cobalts and Chocolatiers
We got
dropping.
screwed.
Coming up next, the second
Last
event of the
week, you
show.
know, we went all the way down. We went all the way up and then came all the way
One
back
of the most
down.
commonly run disciplines across Marble League and other competition history. But it's one that will make you dizzy.
All right, it's time for a true classic.
Hey everybody, I'm Greg
Funnels.
Woods. This is the Funnels. We start with the showdown, the
Oh,
second
and good,
event
we're in it.
of this
We're in it to
showdown.
play.
We've got a good lineup for you.
We're normally
All
pretty good at this
16
event.
of the teams will be
If I
competing.
remember,
with
we're
5
pretty good
captains
at normally.
in the mix. Choose your favorite. Down they come. The goal, of course, is to stay in the funnels the longest. Now, right
They
here,
do
who's in
seem
the
like
lead?
very
No
small
idea.
funnels,
But as they go
and we're
along,
out
whichever
front.
marble is
Fuck.
higher up the course.
At least I
means
think that's
they have
us.
Not dropped through near as many funnels. That means they are in the lead. Right now, that distinction.
Okay,
is
we're
going
gaining
to
some
the turtle
spacing.
Sliders.
Every time
Around
I,
with the jungle
immediately
jumpers
after I
at the
say
lead.
that, every
For
time,
them,
we fall down.
Turtle Sliders going with Shelly for this one. Those two are slowly working
Yeah,
around.
we're
You'll
slowly
notice this
gaining
part
some
of the
space.
Hyperloop set you can replicate.
Yeah, they
this
feel,
funnel madness
these feel
yourself.
like
Look at
very
all of them.
small, slow funnels, but there's a lot of them.
In some years, the funnel contraption, the tower for the funnels, can actually be taller than the grandstand itself, and this is a great.
I do like that funnels changes every time. Sure, not every year they're good. Like a few years ago when they had the stoppers in them, that was just bad funnels.
And the fans
but these,
on the outside. Now let's take a look at
these seem okay. They're just
the best.
They're
right
small,
well,
so everyone feels clumped together.
Place. Farthest down the course, creeping around that event horizon, that point at which you cannot come back.
But we're back 3. That's good.
And granted, there's still a lot
of course, all it takes is one bad hit, and you're down a layer. But we've got at least... Okay, we had at least a layer between the bottom
from
two.
the O-Rangers, Kinnuan, that's the captain. Meanwhile, up top there,
and we're swiftly losing that lead.
And now it goes back into the same order that it was. Minty Maniacs. We're taking a turn.
We were making good progress there for a second, and now we've just taken some bad hits.
Now they fall on through. Team Primary's Prim also there. Meanwhile, we've got a new last place runner down there at the bottom, and that's Balls of Chaos. Tumult.
We took some bad hits right there. And oh my god, that just cost us everything.
Down in the mix, and Butterscotch actually falls through first. Starting to lose the leaders off the left side. Hey, how about Shock? I mentioned needing to start working up the order, and that is exactly what
all the way down, and I think it's the second to last one.
Oh, we're about to have our first finisher. That means last place, and it's looking like Balls of Chaos. Yes, it will be. Jawbreaker's in a precarious situation.
Hold out as long as you can.
Ooh, Wolfpack getting in the
I don't even remember which of us is running.
As I say that, Sirius falls on through. 3 funnels to go for that marble.
We started off okay. We got better. And then we just took some bad corners around some of those funnels, and it just cost us everything.
Shining Swarm, O-Rangers, Primary, and Jungle Jumpers, and we're down to our top 5.
The Wolfpack and the Thunderbolts.
Amazingly, Shelly for the Turtle Sliders has lost the lead. Minty Maniacs dropped through with Minty Drizzle. There comes Shelly, has lost it, and who is dueling? It's the Thunderbolts.
I mean, we weren't in last. My big worry is, I think if we're bottom 4, we get auto-relegated. That's our big avoidance. I think we'll be okay.
And let the traffic wash on by.
Okay, it was Astron running.
Wolfpack get the win in Event 2 of the Showdown.
Started off so decent.
Come second. Limers
it was going to be okay.
Third.
It was supposed to be okay.
That's a great illustration of the ebbs and flows of this event, as you will see in just a moment. For
okay, we're still 5th. Again, we won a silver last time.
They jump up 5, as do the Limers.
We fell down 3, but we're still okay.
Rollers dropped to 2nd.
We just got to avoid those bottom 4.
Galactic falls a little bit, but this Showdown is just...
Wait, I gotta... Is it only the bottom 2 teams who are relegated? Or is that just because they're tied, that they're blue?
Third, Galactic falls a little
Either
bit,
way, I'm worried.
But this Showdown is just heating up. Heck of a job. You've seen marbles that sometimes tumble all the way to last and work their way back up. In that case, Thunderbolts won away from winning it all. If you want to see the action move back and forth, changing at every funnel, movement with every drop, you can check out the Hyperloop. Also the Skyway Chase. That's got some funnels in it as well. Don't forget about those. Skyway Chase, you jump into a couple of those funnels. That's pretty exciting. Well, hopefully you jumped to become a YouTube member when that opened up. Different tiers that you can take part in with different perks in each one. Let's take a look at the overall Marble League standings right now. Through the first few events, it's Indigo Stars catching a lot of people's attention.
Yeah, and that's really surprising for the Indigo Stars. Pinky's not that much. Snowballs, kind of.
To the rest of the field.
Okay, we're running Resi.
They are in this one, here in the Funnel Endurance. Starting order, of course, gets all jumbled as you do those.
I was like worried. I was like, we're going straight in first.
To the first funnel. All 16 teams competing in this one as well, just like we saw in the Showdown.
Okay, we're not doing great to start off, but...
Right out of the gate. That is not good.
See, another thing that helps a lot is like a good hit from someone coming in, because these funnels are so small. A good hit will do a lot of work to help out your team.
Until I said that. Looks like Team Plasma.
But everyone is just so close right now.
Up there.
But we're in top
Specifically, you
3.
can
That's
see
good.
the cascade of funnels. Look at the
And
fans.
we were in last
Watching
for like
a
a
lot of the
second.
time because obviously they can't see down into the funnels until they get down to the bottom, and of course that's where we hand out the medals.
Yeah, I feel like this one, everything starts off very close.
I mentioned Orange Eye earlier,
and then
now
like
in
it'll
second
slowly
place.
start to like
How
make
quickly things
space.
have moved around. Ounce from the Oceanics is also
Yeah,
in the mix.
one
had the lead.
One
dropping
hit
into that
moves
funnel.
you from
Savage
first to
Speeder,
last in
Ounce has
this.
lost the lead.
At least early on.
Now it goes to Goose from the Green Ducks. Lots of marbles, all gathered in what are now 3
I really
funnels.
don't until like those final like
For the
2
most
or
part,
3
they're always
funnels.
in 2. Never much
being in the back of the
separation
pack
between
does
the
not
teams. It
mean
shows
that
how
much.
evenly matched they are. Hart from the Blackjacks takes a turn, leading this one. Down below, Hazers are in a dangerous spot. Solar Flares, they tumble on through.
I do kind of wish there was like an indication
Flair
of like final
has
3
recovered.
funnels.
Up top,
That would help
Orange
a
Eye
lot.
battling with the Pinkies, and it's Savage Speeders. Orange Eye has the lead. Orange Eye and Savage Speeders moving back and forth, squaring off. Oh, hard impact there against the Solar Flares. That was Raspberry Racer's Resi that came flying down there.
But we're still holding in.
Down below, we're getting toward our first finishers. Hazer's getting shoved aside. Oh, that's not a good spot for Yeller. Yeller finishes in last. Who comes
All right,
next?
we're top 3 going into the final 3
Circling
funnels.
around there, the snowballs.
We're number 1.
Would they be next? No, they're getting
Oh,
some help.
shit.
Lots of marbles
This is
shouldering
huge.
them aside. And they
As long as we
live
don't
to
take a
roll
bad
another
hit.
day.
Oh, that's
Cobalt's
okay.
coming 15th, and it's Oceanic.
We're definitely doing
Blackjacks,
okay.
Green Ducks, Bumblebee.
I feel
They're
like we're in a
coming
decent
snowballs. They held on as long
position.
as they could. Orange Eye is up there along with Raspberry Racer.
But
The
it's
two of
all
them
gonna be close
are in
here.
the lead, but it's 4 marbles left. Chocolatiers
We're
come
top
on
3.
through.
Come on.
Pinkies, the hosts. They're going to get a medal here, but what color will it be? It'll be
Oh,
bronze. They nearly went
baby,
side
that's
by
what
side
I'm
with Orange
talking
Eye.
about.
Crazy Cat's Eyes get silver.
Oh my God,
and
Resi.
Raspberry Racers win the gold in funnels.
They were all just circling around the drain there. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'd love to see a replay of that second place moment. Look at that. Less than, what, 500, 600ths between them.
Holy crap.
Amazing. Raspberry Racers Resi gets the win. Monkey Business asking, hey, who ate all the marbles? Not sure what your buffet looks like, but
I was
all
like,
the ones here,
I don't think they ate
they've
the
been
marbles. I
eating
mean, the
up
Jawbreakers
success.
are back.
They stand on the podium.
We needed that
Sometimes
medal.
You bite the gold medal.
Gosh, they needed
This
that
is
medal.
the 9th for the team, 30th overall. 2nd gold and 5th medal in the funnel endurance.
Wow.
In a sport that goes back a long time. First appeared back in the Jubilino tournament, actually. It was
Really?
the Blackjacks that won back then
I
in
would
2016.
Funnel Endurance
We've
is
been
such a
moving forward
classic.
ever since.
I would figure it would have been there the whole time.
Looking at the standings,
and that brings us
still a
up
big
to
margin.
3rd.
Indigo Stars over Pinkies. Raspberry Racers are up 9. Crazy Cat's Eyes up 7.
A first place medal is so important. Those 25 points you get from it make such a big difference. I mean, look at that. Look at that lead. That's almost 30 points between 1st and 2nd. Just, 2 gold medals. That's crazy. But yeah, this puts us back into it for sure. It hurts a lot of these lower teams as well. Blackjacks, Mellow Yellow. But yeah, I mean, it's still all a very close gap around this area. But I'm feeling a lot better now than I was just an event or 2 ago. Oh my gosh. Alright, let's switch back over. And let's end off. So, next week, I'm going to continue reading The Parade of Horribles. I'm still working on it. I'll definitely be through chapter 60. Maybe I'll have even finished it by then. I mean, I did The Inevitable Ruin, which is a longer book. I read that entire thing in like 7 days. And so far, this isn't Eyes of the Bedlam Bride, where I'm taking my sweet ass time. Just because I'm kind of like, whatever. This one, I'm taking my sweet ass time intentionally so. But I will finish it. And then maybe I'll go read one of those other things that I mentioned, Because I've had He Who Fights Monsters on my recommendations for a while. I've had the Murderbot Chronicles on my recommendations for a while. I also there's another thing that I'm reading that I'm also not talking about intentionally so. I also got to work on that. So there's still a lot to do. Yeah, we'll be back next week. We'll talk about all that. I don't know if I'm gonna... There's that new Forza game that comes out. I'm definitely not buying it early. But I do kind of... After everything that happened with Mario Kart World, I do kind of want to play Forza. I've definitely been thinking about it. I do own Forza 5. So maybe I'll just play Forza 5. But I've definitely been thinking about it recently. Like, it's been on my mind. So, I don't know if anything will come from it. Same thing with Mixtape. I know right now Mixtape is like one of the hot button games. It's, you know, beloved by critics, but controversial amongst gamers, TM, you know, the racist, the homophobic, the Gamergate people. It's controversial amongst them. I don't trust or respect any of those people. Like, it's at the point now with IGN where I see so many lies and misinformation about IGN that I'm just kind of like, fuck it. I'm done believing gamers' lies and misinformation. I'm just gonna start trusting IGN. Like Simon Cardy, who reviewed Mixtape. I'm going to start trusting him because I know his name. He's got a reputation. I don't give a fuck what Patriot of the West thinks, or any of those other incel gamer bro chuds. Like, fuck them. I'm so over it. It's like, you know how with transphobes, they only have the one same joke about, like, attack helicopters and whatnot, and they've just been doing that same joke over and over again? It's the same thing with IGN haters. They have the one joke, too much water, and they just say it over and over again. And I'm sick of it. I'm done with it. I don't care about IGN. I'm going to start trusting IGN because the people who hate IGN are just far worse. And I don't trust them at all. They are less than reliable. Like, IGN ain't reliable, but they're still more reliable than these incel gamer bro Gamergate chuds. I'm sick of it. I'm fucking sick of it. With Mixtape, with Forza Horizon 6. What a fucking shit show. Mouse PI. Does IGN matter? Do they not matter? Pick a fucking lane. But that's where I'm going to end off for tonight. I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Till next time. Peace.